I was driving down a desolate road, the rain pouring down in sheets, making visibility nearly impossible. I tried to focus on the road ahead, but the constant patter of rain on the roof of my car made it hard to concentrate. As I rounded a bend, the headlights revealed something in the distance, a dark figure standing in the middle of the road. Panic surged through me as I slammed on the brakes, my heart pounding in my chest. "What the hell?" I muttered, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. As I got closer, the figure came into clearer view, a woman, soaked to the bone, with a vacant stare and a twisted smile on her lips. She looked like something out of a nightmare. I rolled down my window, my voice shaking. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" But she didn't respond. She just stood there, her eyes fixed on me, that eerie smile never leaving her face. I felt a chill crawl up my spine as I realized she wasn't alone. There were more figures emerging from the darkness, surrounding my car on all sides. They were all women, all drenched from head to toe, all wearing that same twisted smile. Fear gripped me as I tried to reverse my car, but it wouldn't budge. I was trapped, surrounded by these eerie, silent figures. "Please, let me go!" I shouted, my voice desperate. But they just kept smiling, their eyes gleaming in the darkness. Suddenly, a loud crash shook the air, and I turned to see what had caused it. Another car had collided with mine, and the impact sent me spinning out of control. My car skidded off the road and crashed into the trees, leaving me dazed and disoriented. I tried to catch my breath, my heart pounding in my ears. As I stumbled out of the wreckage, I saw the women again, standing in a circle around me. Their smiles had grown wider, more sinister, and their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. I felt like I was in a nightmare, trapped in a web of terror that I couldn't escape from. "Who are you?" I managed to whisper, my voice trembling. But they didn't answer. They just kept smiling, closing in on me with every step I took. In a last-ditch effort to escape, I turned and ran into the woods. The branches clawed at my skin, and the ground beneath my feet was slippery with mud. I didn't know where I was going, but I had to get away from those haunting smiles, those glowing eyes. As I ran deeper into the woods, the rain seemed to grow heavier, the darkness more suffocating. And then, I saw it, a dilapidated cabin in the distance, its windows boarded up, a chilling aura surrounding it. I didn't have any other option, so I ran toward the cabin, hoping to find some refuge from the nightmare that was chasing me. I threw open the creaky door and stumbled inside, gasping for breath. The cabin was cold and musty, with a dim light flickering in the corner. But my relief was short-lived, as I saw the women again, standing just outside the cabin, their eyes still glowing, their smiles wider than ever. I felt like I was trapped in a nightmare that had become all too real. As they closed in on me, their laughter echoed through the cabin, sending shivers down my spine. I backed away, my heart pounding in my chest. "Please, just leave me alone," I pleaded. But they didn't listen. They just kept advancing, their haunting smiles growing with every step. And then, just as they were about to reach me, the cabin walls seemed to come alive. The boards creaked and groaned, and the floor beneath me trembled. I looked around in horror, realizing that the cabin was alive, and it was protecting me from the terrifying women outside. The walls closed in, pushing the women away, and the door slammed shut with a deafening thud. I was safe, for now. But as I stood there, the truth dawned on me, the cabin was no ordinary cabin. It was something more, something supernatural. I was in the clutches of a sinister force, a force that had saved me from the women outside, but a force that would never let me leave. I was trapped, imprisoned in this haunted cabin, forever haunted by the memory of those haunting smiles, those glowing eyes. And so, I became just another victim of the terrifying secret hidden in the woods, forever lost in the darkness, forever trapped in the nightmare that had become my reality. I was driving down a dark, desolate highway when I saw the sign, "Detour ahead." I groaned, not wanting to take a longer route, but I had no choice. The road ahead was closed, and the detour led me to a town I had never heard of before. As I entered the town, an eerie feeling washed over me. The streets were empty, and the buildings looked ancient, like they had been standing for centuries. I tried to shake off the sense of unease as I continued down the silent streets. But then, I saw them, shadowy figures lurking in the corners, their eyes glowing like embers in the darkness. My heart raced as I realized I was not alone. The dead were among us, their restless souls haunting this cursed town. I wanted to turn back, to escape this nightmare, but my car sputtered and stalled, leaving me stranded in this ghostly place. I got out of the car, the chill in the air sending shivers down my spine. I could feel their presence all around me, the dead never resting, their spirits trapped in this town for eternity. I stumbled upon an old graveyard, the tombstones weathered and crumbling. As I walked among the graves, a cold wind blew, and I heard whispers, faint voices calling out from the beyond. I couldn't make out the words, but I knew they were pleading, begging for release from their eternal torment. I tried to block out the haunting sounds, to focus on finding a way out of this cursed town. But the more I walked, the deeper I became entangled in its web of darkness. I turned a corner and came face to face with a ghastly sight, a woman, her eyes hollow and vacant, her skin pale as death. She reached out to me, her fingers long and skeletal. I stumbled back, my heart pounding. "Leave me alone," I cried out. But she only laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the empty streets. I ran as fast as I could, desperate to escape this nightmare. But no matter where I turned, the dead were there, their cold gazes following my every move. I found myself in front of an old, dilapidated mansion. Its windows were boarded up, and the front gate was rusted shut. I had nowhere else to go, so I pushed open the gate and entered the mansion, hoping to find some sanctuary from the haunting spirits outside. Inside, the air was heavy with the stench of decay. The walls were covered in dust and cobwebs, and the silence was suffocating. As I ventured further into the mansion, the sound of footsteps echoed through the halls. I turned, expecting to see another lost soul, but there was no one there. I tried to dismiss it as my imagination, but the footsteps grew louder, closer. I backed away, my heart pounding in my chest. "Who's there?" I called out, my voice trembling. But there was no response, just the haunting sound of footsteps getting nearer and nearer. I ran through the maze-like halls, the mansion seeming to shift and change around me. It was like a living, breathing entity, a twisted labyrinth of horrors. And then, I saw it, a figure standing at the end of the hallway, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. I couldn't move, couldn't escape the gaze of those haunting eyes. And then, the figure spoke, their voice cold and hollow. "Welcome to our town," they said. "A place where the dead never rest." I wanted to run, to escape this nightmare, but my feet were rooted to the spot. "You're one of us now," the figure said, their smile sending shivers down my spine. And that's when I realized the truth. I had become one of the restless dead, trapped in this cursed town for eternity. My soul was forever bound to this place, a haunting reminder of the horrors that lurked in the shadows. And so, as the days turned to nights, and the years turned to centuries, I roamed the streets of this cursed town, my spirit never finding rest. I was just another lost soul, one of the many who wandered the dark, desolate streets, forever haunted by the secrets of this cursed town, where the dead never rest. I was driving down a deserted highway, the radio playing softly in the background. It was late at night, and the darkness outside seemed to stretch on forever. I was tired, just wanting to get home and crawl into bed. But then, something strange happened. The radio crackled, and a creepy voice filled the car. "Hello, traveler," the voice said, sending a chill down my spine. "Do you know what awaits you on this lonely road?" I glanced around, trying to make sense of it. "Who's there?" I asked, my voice shaking. "I am the harbinger of your doom," the voice replied. "Your fate has been sealed." I tried to dismiss it as a prank or some strange interference, but the voice continued, its tone cold and haunting. "As you drive down this forsaken road, you inch closer to your demise," it said. "The darkness is hungry, and it will consume you." My heart raced, and I tried to shake off the fear. "This can't be real," I whispered to myself. But then, the voice spoke again, this time with a sinister laugh. "Oh, it's very real," it said. "The darkness sees all, and it's coming for you." I felt a sense of dread, like I was being watched, like something sinister was lurking in the shadows. I tried to turn off the radio, to silence that haunting voice, but it wouldn't budge. The voice only grew louder, more relentless. "You can't escape your fate," the voice taunted. "The darkness will swallow you whole." I gripped the steering wheel tightly, my heart pounding in my chest. "No, I won't let this happen," I said, trying to muster up some courage. But as I drove on, the darkness seemed to close in around me. The trees on the side of the road loomed like menacing giants, and the shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own. The voice on the radio continued to taunt me, predicting every turn, every mile I covered. "Your time is running out," it said, its voice growing colder with every word. "Soon, you'll be one with the darkness." I tried to focus on the road ahead, to drown out that haunting voice. But the more I tried, the louder it became, until it felt like it was inside my head, driving me mad. And then, just as I thought I couldn't take it anymore, the voice spoke its final words. "Your end is near," it said, its voice filled with triumph. "The darkness claims another soul." And with that, the radio went silent, leaving me in an eerie, suffocating silence. I kept driving, my heart heavy with fear. I didn't know what to believe, what was real and what was just my imagination. But as I turned a corner, I saw it. The darkness ahead seemed to consume everything, like a black void, waiting to swallow me whole. I slammed on the brakes, trying to stop, but my car skidded on the wet road, out of my control. I closed my eyes, waiting for the impact, for the darkness to claim me as the voice had predicted. But the impact never came. When I opened my eyes, I was back on the deserted highway, my car unscathed. Confused and shaken, I continued driving, unsure of what had just happened. And then, I heard it, the radio crackling to life again, the same haunting voice filling the car. "Your escape was only temporary," it said, its tone colder than ever. "The darkness is patient, and it will find you." I couldn't believe it. I was trapped in a never-ending nightmare, a cycle of fear and despair. The voice on the radio was right, the darkness was coming for me, and there was no escape. And so, as I drove on, the voice continued to haunt me, predicting my every move, my every mile covered. I was forever bound to this cursed highway, where the creepy voice on the radio predicted my imminent demise, and the darkness never rested.